everyone. Welcome to Eat Well, Be Happy. I'm Deborah.
And I'm Roxanne.
And notice her little sparkly headband here. Turn your head. So little
Just for you.
Little Miss Sparkle herself and I in the kitchen are going to be making 3 things that are easy and will make you eat well and be happy. We're making a curried red lentil soup.
One of my favorites.
We're making a fish stew with sweet potatoes and tomatoes. And what else are we making?
We are making a blueberry berry sorbet.
Correct.
With stevia
cinnamon
and
and
stevia.
stevia.
Yeah.
Which you always say you don't like.
But I really love it in this.
Good.
Yes.
And we're going to hopefully remember to garnish some things with microgreens, which seem to be all the rage nowadays and very nutritious.
It's so pretty.
You better remind us if we don't remember, please. And then because every meal should have something sweet at the end, we're going to finish the meal with a fine chocolat. All right, here we go.
All right.
So we're going to do the soup first. And knowing that we didn't have time to fully cook the soup because you're here for lunch, we cooked the red lentils yesterday separately, so ahead of time. This is what a red lentil looks like before you cook it. And you can see they're very fine. They're much finer than other lentils, which means they cook a lot more quickly. And like no lentil needs to be soaked like beans are, and they cook like a dream. So we have in here, we put in there 2 cups of red lentils. Oh my God, is that a heavy pot?
Which everyone needs to realize that they start out red, but they cook up yellow. We've had many people return soup to us saying, I ordered red lentil ginger soup, but I got something else. And we have to assure them that no,
it truly is.
It truly is, and it does change with cooking. The color actually changes.
So we have started these lentils, mostly cooked them. I can hear our crew sneezing. You're evidently not eating well and being happy. You better get on the stick.
The soup will make them feel
The
better.
soup will make you feel better. So we have the red lentils in there. So 2 cups of red lentils, 6 cups of water, and I'm going to add 2 cups of chickpeas, otherwise known as garbanzo beans. And all of the beans and the peas are extremely nutritious, extremely inexpensive compared to a steak, for instance, and they really will satisfy you. So I've noticed that all my water is absorbed here. So I'm going to add some extra water.
I can get water if you keep going.
I think we have
Yep, I'll get
did
it.
I use up the one next
You
to
did.
there?
I can get you some
So
more.
we're going to add about another 2 cups of water.
You got it.
And this soup is going to feed about 6 to 8 people, depending on how generous your portions are. We're going to be putting in there,
2 cups.
thank you, 2 cups of water so we don't burn it. We're going to turn that down just a little bit. Oh, aging eyes, they don't see the flame as they used to.
I can hear it.
You can hear it. All right. So we decided, Roxanne, that we have in here a little pinch of cayenne. We have in there half a teaspoon of thyme.
Yeah.
Thyme being one of those herbs that are kind of antimicrobial, antiviral, and a tablespoon of curry powder. You can use whatever kind you like.
Yum.
And we decided that we were going to put that in, and we were going to put in garlic. Were we going to
Yep.
press it or chop it? What do you think?
I think for soup, chopping's okay, but if
Okay.
you'd like it finer, I can grate it for you.
All right, why don't you chop the garlic? And our recipe calls for about 4 cloves of garlic. These were teeny tiny.
Teeny tiny, yeah.
So, and soup again is very forgiving. So we're going to mix that in.
And I've already taken the liberty to chop an onion for you.
Is that for the soup?
Yep, you need an onion.
Thank you,
So
Roxanne.
you're welcome.
If I didn't have her telling me what to do, I would be lost. So 1 cup of chopped onion. So you can see that this soup so far is pennies to make and will be very satisfying. But we decided to do something a little bit extra. What did we decide to do?
Well, we decided to gild the lilies with a little ghee.
No, that's for the
That's
fish.
for the fish, I'm sorry. Coconut milk, right? Coconut milk.
Do you like coconut milk?
I love coconut milk.
Now this soup would taste just perfect the way it is. Just perfect, just seasoned and perfect. But by adding that little bit of coconut milk, we're kind of adding another depth of flavor. We're adding a good fat. We're adding a sort of a luxury,
Luxurious,
yeah. And I like this particular brand because it is pure organic coconut extract with water. So it has no thickeners or no algae or no anything.
Nothing you don't really want to have.
Right, but it also doesn't like to come out easily.
Well, it'll clump out once you get there. It goes.
Yeah, there it goes. All right. So we're
And
going to put this can in recycling.
Yeah, I can take care of that. And there's your garlic.
There's our garlic.
All right.
Oh, so there's our garlic.
Yep.
So you see how simple that soup was. 2 cups of red lentils, 2 to 4 cups of chickpeas, whatever your heart desires, a chopped onion, a bunch of cloves of garlic, a tablespoon of curry powder, half a teaspoon of thyme. What else do we put in there? A little cayenne.
Yep. And it's also nice that you could start it earlier the night before.
Yes.
Get a jump on it and then finish it off the next day, which, takes a little pressure off if you're working or trying to get ready for a party. You can spend more time with your guests.
All right, so that's our soup. And this will cook now for just about 5 or 10 minutes. And if you want to make this whole soup the night before and then warm it up the next day, that's fine. Before we serve it, we're going to garnish it with the parsley, and we're also going to garnish it with these fun little coconut chips. So
But you could toast also.
And these actually are toasted.
Are they already toasted? How nice. Okay. Well,
Here.
One step saved right there. So do you normally lid on
I
to let
normally
it come up?
lid on.
Okay.
And it's just starting to bubble around the edges here, and I'm going to turn it down because I don't want it to boil, not with the coconut milk.
No. It'll actually, coconut milk, it has a tendency, if you're not too careful, it'll break. So you'll start out with something really creamy, and then it'll break, and then you'll have a little curdle. So
But actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get pot holders and move that over to the stove because we need to do the fish on there.
Okay.
So I interrupted you, I'm sorry.
No, that was a lot. It already smells really delicious. I can smell the coconut milk.
Yeah.
The fat melting. What kind of fish are we doing today?
You think I remember?
I think it's flounder.
I think it's flounder too
Okay.
now that you say that. So we're making flounder too. Oh my gosh.
You got it?
Got it.
All right. And I'm just going to get our next pan on because these are copper pots. Very heavy, great to cook with, but they do take a while to heat up.
All right, so the next one, we're just calling it has no fancy name. We're just calling it fish with tomatoes and sweet potatoes.
Sounds fancy to me. Sounds better than, takeout. So I'm
And
in.
is in our second cookbook, and it is on page 201. One can use olive oil, one can use butter, one can use coconut oil, one can use ghee, and we decided to use ghee today.
Yay!
Ghee is clarified butter, so it's just the fat that bubbles up.
All the milk solids have been removed.
Correct, thank you.
Yep.
So we're going to put in there about 2 tablespoons of ghee, and I used your spoon, I'm sorry.
I will get you another. It's okay.
You want to use this one?
You can use whatever you want.
Okay. So Roxanne's going to put in there 2 tablespoons of ghee.
Careful.
Thank you. All right,
Well, we'll know in a minute.
2 tablespoons
It's
of
already
ghee.
hot.
Oh, good.
We have a hot pan.
All right. And to that, we're going to be adding 2 chopped onions. Now, onions come in all sizes, and that's all right. So you're going to use whatever size onion you have, because a little more onion.
I'm just going to go in and grab our garlic out so they don't go in whole.
Okay.
But you can certainly start those onions so
All
we
right,
don't
so we're
burn
going to
the
start
ghee.
the onions. So I would say that was about 2 cups of onions. But
And
a
the
little more, a little less. It's
The
all good.
wonderful thing with ghee is it can actually take high temperature for cooking, where butter with its milk solids cannot. So you really, if you're going to cook with just butter, you need to add usually a little olive oil to go with to let the temperature go higher without burning.
All right, we've got our onions starting, and then we're going to add about 6 cloves of chopped garlic.
Yeah, and again, these are tiny, so I've used a bit more.
Right.
And I love garlic, so I might have added a few when.
We're on the same page with that. You can never have too much garlic, although I've discovered you actually can. One show, I made salad and I said you can never have too much garlic. I think I nearly killed the whole audience afterwards when we ate it. It was really too much.
And what happens when you have a really good trick though, when you've had too much garlic, as you helped me when we were traveling in California. I had had Mexican food the night before and went to you the next morning, and what did you say to me?
I said, Roxanne, you need liquid chlorophyll against that garlic.
She could still smell the garlic.
But when she had the liquid chlorophyll, of course, she didn't dilute it in water because she took my advice and just put it right into her mouth and turned her tongue bright green.
Yes, for 12 hours I had a green tongue, but I had lovely breath, so it was just great.
So liquid chlorophyll, if you're worried about your garlic, just have a little liquid chlorophyll in a mug of water, and works as an internal deodorizer, also works as an oxygenator, and enriches the blood. And so if you're anemic, liquid chlorophyll is great. So we've got our ghee in there, we've got our onions, we've got our garlic, and we don't have a fresh jalapeno.
We don't.
So we decided instead we're going to use little pizza peppers. So just feel free to substitute, feel free to improvise. I mean, everybody's kitchen is their own, and you'll do what you like.
That's what cooking's all about.
And then next we're going to do sweet potatoes. Usually, again, they would cook for a long time in here, but we wanted to have lunch. So we cooked some sweet potatoes and ghee ahead of time last night. And then I realized I had this extra baked sweet potato that it was too much for me for dinner last night. So we'll just, should we
Throw
add
it
that?
in? Of course.
Yeah,
Why let it go to waste?
If you'll chop that and
All
we'll
right.
get that in. And meanwhile, I'll look at the onions and hope and pray they'll cook a little faster. Come on. You want your onions to get that sort of translucent look and start to brown around the edges. And I'm not sure we're going to make it in time here for that.
I think we'll be okay.
You think we'll be okay? Yep. All right. All right. I noticed again the sweet potatoes we just scrubbed, we chunked.
Yeah.
We're not peeling them, although I think
Well, it fell off, so.
it fell off.
In
so
one piece.
it falls off, but if it doesn't fall off, eat the peel because it has those vitamins in there. And you know, after all, you're paying for that good organic
Yes.
yam, and why are you throwing away stuff that you paid for and that's going to nourish you?
People in
So-
our kitchen love to work there because there's no more peeling of carrots or. you
Yeah,
know, it's,
that's true.
It's a nice change. You've been culinary world. It's the first thing you learn is how to peel the correct way, and I was able to forget all about it. So thank you.
It's true. You hear of cooks who go to work in a restaurant and all they do is peel
Peel.
200
Yes.
pounds of carrots or
First job. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Shame on us. Okay, so we've got that going, and how about if we put in the rest of the things and then we'll
Okay.
put in the sweet potatoes at the end?
Yeah, we don't want them to get mushy.
So I'm just going to do this, and the onions will have to be what they'll be. We're using about 2 cups of diced tomatoes, and the summer, we have them from the garden, but for now we're using this really nice,
Organic.
sweet and pure from Italy, and that's not to say we don't have absolutely wonderful diced organic tomatoes in this
True.
country too, but these happen to be what I had in my cupboard at home. I like to try different companies and try different things, and it's a really wonderful. And then,
Want a little tomato paste?
yeah, we want to use about 2 tablespoons of tomato
Okay.
paste.
And I would put it in, but
Yes,
it
I
doesn't
know.
work. Okay.
I was watching you like a hawk,
So we all know that 3 teaspoons is a tablespoon. So
and
I'll
we
just,
want 2
Yep,
tablespoons.
so I'll put in 6.
All right.
Okay.
Is this the same company? Tomato
No,
paste?
this is
Bio Naturi,
yeah,
which is
different.
another Italian tomato company. The Italians really know their tomatoes, and you know that too if you go to an Italian restaurant in this country and you see what they do with tomatoes.
All right.
I think the Italians and tomatoes, they should say their name in the same sentence always. All right, so we're just going to do that. And then,
You've got good caramelization in your pan right now.
all right, gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you. And anything else that needs to go into this pot before we put the sweet potatoes
Do
in
you
the
want
fish?
to put a little? We've added no salt or pepper yet. Do you want a little bit, or?
I think we do.
Okay.
So we want a teaspoon of thyme, which I'll put that in. And we want about a half a teaspoon of lemon juice.
Okay, I can do that.
So there's about a half a teaspoon of thyme.
Okay. And I know you're going to scold me for measuring, but you said a half, so Half
I
it
said a
is.
half a cup.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, then here, glug away, dear. Here, I'll let you have it. You can take
Half
care
a
of that.
teaspoon versus half a cup.
That would have been awful, huh?
Well, it just would have been,
flat.
flat. Fish loves lemon.
That's true.
Fish loves lemon, loves tomatoes. All right, so let's see. Should we put our fish in here next or our potatoes in there next?
I
What
would
do
put
you think?
the potatoes last. I would definitely put the
Okay.
fish in.
All right.
Because then it can nestle into the sauce.
Okay, so we're layering fish on top,
Yes.
and we're layering about 2 pounds. And where's our fish? Right in front of me.
So we're using flounder today,
All right.
which is beautiful. It smells like the sea.
And I like that somebody else has cut it and peeled it. I mean,
Yeah,
deboned
no,
it.
no skinning required, which is always nice.
And this pot won't hold it all very nicely, so I'm going to have to layer it, unfortunately. But I'm going to try and get as much as I can.
Yeah.
They've
Oh,
always
yeah.
said that fish is brain food, and I wonder why they say that.
I don't know.
Because it's a good source of protein. Our brain needs protein to live on, to function. That's why, when you get over hungry and you begin to get brain dead.
Okay.
I'll do that, and you
All
can
right.
want to put the sweet potatoes in.
I'm just going to try to nestle it down a little bit into the sauce. Just help it cook a little more evenly, I think. And this is not going to take long.
No. This is going to take literally 5 minutes.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay. I wanted to talk about some of the benefits of yams or sweet potatoes. Yams are number 2 vegetable according to Center for Science and the Public Interest in terms of overall nutrient quantity. And they have a lot of beta-carotene, they have a lot of fiber, they have a lot of good stuff that we need.
Yeah.
So yams, and also make sure your seafood is sustainable.
Do you want
Yeah.
salt and pepper in now, or do you want to wait until the end?
I don't think it matters personally.
Okay. All right, we'll wait then.
All right. I do want to say about tomatoes in there too. Tomatoes are a good source of lycopene, which is good for men in particular, and lutein as well, which is good for eye health and stuff. So, rich in both. But tomatoes, actually, they say the cooked tomatoes are actually better for us, so we get the nutrients from them more easily than raw tomatoes. So, so in the summertime, when we're eating all those raw tomatoes like there's
Yum.
no tomorrow, we're actually getting more nutrients by cooking them in a stew or with fish or something.
More fun to eat them fresh.
Our soup is on the stove. We'll let it
Yes.
sit there. It looks like it's beginning to bubble over.
Okay.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Just in time.
Quick save.
Okay, so I'm going to turn this down.
And then we're going to do a smoothie?
We're going to do a sorbet.
A sorbet, sorry.
Not a smoothie.
I'm sorry. Sorbet.
Not a smoothie. We're
Yes.
going to do a sorbet.
Yeah.
So sorbet, I always think of ice cream for dessert. And I love ice cream and can't
I do
eat less
too.
than 2 pints.
Love it.
Oh my gosh.
Dangerous in my house.
Dangerous.
Yes.
So I discovered the Vitamix, and maybe we can put that
Sure.
up here, Rux,
Yep.
so people can see that a little bit more. There are umpteen versions of this, and I know that we've done some other versions on air for you in the past, but want to do this again. So we have in here 2 cups of water. Is that 2 cups? Can you see the mark? 2 cups?
I need bifocals. You have to forgive me. Yes, 2 cups.
2 cups of water.
Okay.
You can start with less, but we have 2 cups of water there, and we're going to be putting in about 4 cups of fruit.
Any fruit you want, or?
Any fruit you want, but today I have in some
Ooh.
wild Maine blueberries. If they're wild Maine, they are from Maine, and that's true. And then I have in some frozen organic raspberries, just to give it a little bit of different flavor.
Nice.
So we're going to put in that frozen fruit. And if you try this with a regular blender, you will break your
Yes.
blender. You do need Vitamix for something like this.
And I remember the first time I had this with you, you had my family and I over for like a lunch after we gardened with you.
Yes.
And the kids, of course, were looking for dessert, and you said, aha. And my children had never tried stevia yet, and my husband hadn't either. And they were just shocked that such a little bit went such a long way as a sweetener. It was really amazing.
But, and I was growing stevia in my garden. What I
Yes.
do remember too is how disappointed Roxanne's children were that this wasn't ice cream, and they gave all their portions to their father, who developed a cold headache while he was trying to eat all 3 portions.
Well, now all of us, and we do enjoy stevia, so that was our introduction, so thank you.
All right. So you can use stevia from the garden, a couple of stevia leaves. You can use some stevia powder. This happens to be a vanilla liquid stevia, and I just find it easier to use. So I am going to be putting in about 2 little squirts, and I find that's just the perfect amount.
Yeah, a little goes a long way
Yeah.
for stevia.
And if you're using a pure stevia extract powder, then it's 200 times sweeter than
just like a
sugar, and
kiss.
so it's just a kiss. But I have here about a teaspoon of
Cinnamon. Yep.
and then we're just going to blend it.
Okay.
I've tried this before instead of water, using
There we
coconut
go.
water, all kinds of things. So let's see. We're just going to turn it on.
So it'll be
That'll
noisy,
help.
and I'm going to we'll use this to scrape down?
I have the scraper tool right there.
Okay.
So I'm going to pulse it first. Doesn't like me. All right, I think now we're ready to use the plunger.
sure.
You want to do it?
Okay, you want to work the controls, and
Sure.
I'll try to. I have
All right.
a clunk right here.
You have a clunk
I
there?
have a clunk, yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, now,
Yum.
so we have this wonderful sorbet that has to be eaten quickly, because if you do not eat it quickly, it will just melt and it'll become like a smoothie. But having it this way, thanks, Roxanne.
You're welcome.
And this, I probably would try and use less water if I were serving this for company, because I think then it is thicker.
Or you could add more berries if you wanted to.
I could
thicken
add
it
more
up.
berries.
Yeah.
Would you like to dish that out?
Okay.
And what would you like, a little measuring cup or a spatula, or what would you like?
Yeah, or a spoon. Here.
That's going to be big enough? No.
I think so. Watch.
All right, I'll let you do that, and I'll check the. I want to. Whoop. I'm just going to take a piece of the fish just to see
Okay.
if it's done. I think it's done.
Salt and pepper?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we'll bring over. I'm making a
There's your
mess here.
salt.
Okay.
And would you like black pepper today or greens of paradise? I know you have it here under your shaker.
Let's do grains of paradise.
Okay. Do you want to tell the folks about greens of paradise?
Probably not as well as you can. I know it's a pepper-like substance, but again, it's just its own wonderful self. And I know it was introduced on the cooking channel on television, and then it became more easily accessible.
Yeah. It's a little spicier, I would say, than black pepper. More depth of flavor, maybe?
Yeah, and it's a different plant completely. So rather than making this fish beautiful with the fillets, I'm just mixing it up, and it is becoming very stew-like.
Nice.
All right, and I think I feel like Celtic sea salt in
Okay.
this one, so let's do that. I don't think I'm. Problem is I can't tell how much I'm putting in when I grate it. All right, I'll do one more taste of this. We'll bring over the soup.
Okay. I can grab the soup if you want.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right, so here are the sorbets.
Yum, yum.
Definitely.
We've got to get to that fast, Roxanne, before we die of longing.
Well, if you insist, dear, I can definitely. Can I try it now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
And if I said no,
I might have still gone for it. It's just so delicious. It's clean, bright.
oh, it didn't make a whole bunch.
You can. Well, I was very generous with my. I still have more here.
Oh,
And you can really taste the vanilla in the stevia. So it's really nice. Good
All
job.
right. So we were going to garnish this or the soup with parsley. I think the soup.
We're doing both with parsley.
Okay.
So I actually have already chopped up some for you. So depending on which dish you want to do first, you can use that.
Okie doke.
And I can always chop some more.
All right. So why don't you dish out some fish stew,
Okay.
and we can garnish that.
Do you have where would you like the fish stew to be dished into?
How about some on the plate so the folks can see it?
Okay.
And we'll then garnish it also with some microgreens,
Yum.
which we are not forgetting to use.
All right. And then I have more parsley for you too.
Yeah. And I think you remember how the red lentils looked before they were cooked into soup? Now they've cooked even further, so they're basically just part of the liquid, which somehow makes it really nice and nutritious. This is my parsley for the soup.
That's your parsley?
All right. So
And then
there
do you
goes-
just want a little handful of the greens on the plate? Is that
Yeah,
okay?
I think that would be just perfect.
So are microgreens the same thing all the time, or are they different things depending on who you're buying them from?
I think they're different from every grower.
Okay. So depending on the season, you could get something different
Yes.
in your box?
And they also, they have different mixtures.
Okay.
So they have, sometimes you get one that's called Red Bull,
All right.
little sprouts from
Nice.
whatever the Red
So
Bull
that's
sprouts
that.
come from.
What do you think? Is that good enough to
I
eat?
think that's beautiful.
Okay.
What do you mean good enough to eat? Here, put that there.
There? Okay.
What do you mean good enough to eat?
I was only kidding.
She's impugning our food. Oh my gosh, good enough to eat.
Lentil soup is one of those things that are like so hot. As she just goes for it.
Well, I didn't have very much on my spoon.
Okay.
I think that, how would you like to taste it? And to
Okay.
see, I think it's just the right amount of salt
All right, good.
myself. Sorry, I was getting the pepper in there.
Well, it's beautiful color. And then you have the coconut chips too
Yep.
for the bowls.
So if Roxanne gives the go-ahead on that, we're dishing that one out. What do you think?
It's really nice.
Oh, yes.
Really, really
Okay.
nice.
So we're going to dish out for you, because you're here, some red lentil chickpea soup. And if you want to garnish with the coconut.
Yep. Can I come to your left? Is
Yep.
that okay?
All right. So we have plenty of soup left in that pot, don't we?
We do.
Enough for an army.
Well, that's the best thing about soup is that, you know,
Yeah.
with a little bit, you can really do some nice stuff. That looks so pretty. Oh, wow. Did you taste the sorbet?
I make it all the time.
I know, but you never get to taste anything because you're always so busy on air.
Because I'm afraid stuff is going to get stuck between my teeth. That's
I think
why.
you should try it. It's delicious. Isn't that nice?
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very,
Good-
very,
good
very,
job.
Very nice. All right. So you all, we have had you here for Eat Well, Be Happy. We want you back soon. Today we've made a red lentil soup with chickpeas, coconut milk,
And curry. Yep.
And we've made a fish stew with
Tomatoes and sweet potatoes. I'm sorry, yams.
sweet potatoes, yams. We
Okay.
use them interchangeably. We've made a raspberry blueberry sorbet, and we're treating you to some
Chocolate ginger bark that we make at the store.
And we will have either done that for you already on a show, or we will make it for you soon. So we want you to eat well, be happy, and please write us. We'd love to hear from you. So thank you. Bye.